Welcome to my channel. Please like and subscribe and you'll be notified of the next broadcast video. Recently, I just heard that Microsoft has released their first quantum processor called Majorana 1. According to what they claim, this central processing unit contains 1 million qubits in their research and announced that Microsoft claimed that they will be using this new material called a topolo conductor. This is new, which is a type of superconductor. Now, there's a lot of companies try to make a room temperature superconductor, a superconductor that is a material that have nearly close to zero resistance. The majority of the time, they're making superconductor that they use a material using nitrogen to make it float on a magnet, and it has a free flowing, no resistance. Everything goes real fast. I mean, no resistance, no heat, just communicate and travel real fast. So technically, it's a semi superconductor, not a true superconductor. It's close to it, to room temperature wise, but it is kind of a hybrid type of superconductor. I mean, even though it's technically is not a true superconductor, but it's mitigated the materials of a superconductor, which is better than nothing. So now this type of manufacturing is impressive. I mean, I'm gonna say this. This new type of manufacture process has been developed to create a stable quantum qubit using this type of technology, because whenever anyone tried and make a quantum processor in the past, it has been unstable. I mean, they try to make it small, it's unstable. They try to make it too big, it's unstable. They found the right formula, the calculation to make a stable qubit, which it is, I give kudos to Microsoft. It's impressive. I know a lot of companies, Intel, all the names tried to make the first ever qubit central processing chip. But hey, it's just impressive. And they didn't always get it right the first time. Because, I mean, like I said, the stability of the quantum processor, because quantum kind of fades in and out in all, not only two-dimensional, but like 3 to 4-dimensional. And this project took Microsoft 17 years. 17 years, that's a dedication right there. I had to give them credit for that. That is a impossible dedication. 17 years in the works. 17 years to make a stable chip, to do the most complex calculation. I mean, Microsoft has somehow succeeded to obtain the impossible. I mean, in my words, it's impossible. But this is the first of its kind processing chip. And you got to be, I had to look at it this way. Technology has been around for a long time. The big leap is the vacuum tubes, created in the early 1900s, like roughly around 1920s to 1930s to 1940s, and then the mid 1940s to 50s they made the transistor chips, which is I'm pretty familiar with. From the transistor chips into the 1960s, into the 1970s, that's when we get the first integrated chips. I mean, the first integrated chips was there was act like central processing unit until you get more advanced technologies on it. And believe it or not, this will probably go the same way. The main purpose of this quantum central processing chip is to solve technical problems. I mean, primary towards science. What type of science? Any type of science. Natural science, space science, physics, chemistry, medicine. I mean, I could go on and on. There's too many things to even mention. I mean, I'm going to say this. It covers a lot of things, and including things that we have not even discovered yet or envisioned yet, because we're just the beginning of it. This is the first stage of it. Now, it's still going to be a long way, in my opinion, for this technology to be stable enough for commercial use. When I mean commercial use, that means home use. Due to this technology be in its infancy, it would probably take at least some couple of decades. I mean, you got to look at this. Like I said before, vacuum tubes, transistors, integrated chips. That is a span, if some people calculate it, that's a span of 20 years. But then it would really take off is 30 something years. So basically, when you look at you look at 30 to 40 years. But in our technology, it could be coming faster than we might know it. But this is my opinion. This type of technology, will be in a household, in my opinion, in the late 30s, the late 2030s, or the 2040s, maybe perhaps the 2050s. It's the first of its kind. Since it's the first of its kind chip, it's had to integrate it with our classical computers, which is kind of a slowdown for the chip itself. A big slowdown. But Microsoft is not done yet. They are planning to create integrated circuits or new quantum type integrated circuit to work with this new quantum computers in the near future. Once they make the components for these quantum processors or quantum chips, the physics of quantum computing and using the latest materials, it will make a new difference. New material be invented, new way of thinking be developed. That means new physics, everything be new. Everything's going to be in new territory. And this is like the beginning of a new century that we're entering or emerging, and there's going to be using quantum computing. When this technology be available, who knows? We don't know for a fact that it's going to take a while to this type of technology going to be everywhere. Because the first, like I said, is going to be on these servers. Then the second is going to be on personal computers. Then the next going to be in mobile devices or everyday devices when technologies become more advanced. As I mentioned before, this new type of technology going like every other technology. Is it going to take time to mature? And I believe it will mature. And before anybody know it, the first quantum computer is going to be available for commercial use probably in the 2030s or maybe the 2050s, or probably in between the 2030s and 2050s. But once we live in a fascinating time, even though people don't take it seriously, we live in a fascinating time and year, and this is just barely the beginning of entering the quantum era. Because this chip, the Majorana 1, is a test of entering the quantum era of computing. Or let's say the quantum computing era. But I'm looking forward. It's going to take a couple years because I believe Microsoft's maybe the first, but they're not going to be the only one. I believe in the near future that more quantum processor will be emerged from different companies like Intel, TMC, Samsung. A lot of companies will compete to make this thing happen. Siemens. I mean, I could go on and on, but this is a big thing for the next generation of computers. The chip itself is pretty big. It's not a small chip. This is almost the way it's showing is like a palm of your hand, but uh, in due time, it's going to compress and much smaller. The chip may be tiny, but the housing of it is the big as a hand. Hey, is what it is. But I'm looking forward for the next thing, and this is what I'm going to say about the Majorana One. But I believe that this is just the beginning of the quantum CPU processor, and I believe there's more on the way. Once they come out in the next few years, I'm not sure about this year or maybe next year, but it will eventually come out because the next thing is who's going to be number two to present their quantum processor, and that's going to be the next big thing. Anyway, this is my talk about this new technology, and I will see you next time.